We're here at Nottingham Hill Farm in beautiful downtown Gordonsville, Tennessee. Welcome to the Chamber Corner. Okay, we're here at the parlor at Nottingham Hill Farm, and if you get a chance, this is a great place to visit, especially if you got somebody that's coming into town and needs a place to stay. But anyway, we're in the parlor here at Nottingham Hill Farm, and Mr. Stan Webster is here with us. Stan, you're going to talk to us a little bit about what's going on at Granville, is that right? That's
right. Bill, we're getting ready to kick our season off in Granville. In fact, we're opening the homestead March the 7th, and our theme this year is strolling through the 50s, the post-war boom, and everything's going to be centered on the 50s. If you recall, we do a 10-year period each year, the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, happen to be this year, and of course next year will be the 60s and then the 70s. But we're kicking it off on March the 7th. We'll have our 50s cars. We'll be in the Transportation Museum. We've got a traveling exhibit I'll get into just a little bit later. And then our first big event will actually be April the 14th. It'll be the Upper Cumberland Wine Festival. And it'll be actually the official grand opening of Strolling Through the 50s. We're going to have a sock hop and a fashion contest. We're going to have an all 1950s car show, which is sponsored by O'Reilly's, I might add. And it's our annual Genealogy Festival.
Okay, here, I'll hold that for you.
Let's see. If you'll take the top one there.
Right.
I got to have a cheat sheet.
And I'll hold this up Granville here.
Right. On April the 14th, the festival will last from 9 to 5. We're going to have all sorts of 1950s events, as I mentioned, the 1950s Antique Car Show. We're going to have a 1950s DJ, a 50s band, 50s costume contest, a 50s dance-off contest, and all sorts of different competitions. We're going to have historic home tours, strolling through the 50s, and actually, we have a 50s diner set up in the old Sutton store. We've got the Nickelodeon hanging on the wall and some old 50s arcade games in there. We're also going to dedicate our I Love Lucy exhibit. You'll have an opportunity to have lunch with Lucy, and we're going to have a grape stomping contest. If you remember that episode of I Love Lucy where they stomp the grapes.
Yeah.
We have a couple that live in Sparta, actually. They've moved to this area of the country they've actually traveled all over. They have the largest I Love Lucy exhibit that they say that exists. And I know they were over a period of the last week bringing this stuff in, and I've never seen. We've got I Love Lucy exhibit in Sutton store. We've got one in the museum and the homestead. All the rooms in the homestead are outfitted to that as well. We'll also be having our Genealogy Festival with speakers, and all that'll be down at the Methodist Church.
Okay.
We're going to have a dedication of New Life and Stories of Yesteryear video, which we filmed back about a month or so ago. We filmed it during the winter. We've also got a traveling exhibit, Reading Appalachia, Voices from Children's Literature. That's on loan from the East Tennessee Museum.
Okay.
Now, a little bit about the Wine Festival. On April the 14th from noon to 5, this will be our 3rd annual Wine Festival. There again, they're going to have a grape stomping contest, a sock hop. This is put on by the Upper Cumberland Wine Growers Group, Upper Cumberland Tourism, I'm trying to say.
Yeah, okay, UCTA.
There you go, Miss Ruth Dial. This was her and Rebecca Pascal's kind of brainstorm about 3 years, I guess this will be our 3rd one, so it'd be 3 years ago that we've hosted it.
Now, Rebecca is Cellar 53.
Cellar 53,
which
that's
is just
correct.
off of Brush Creek.
Off of Brush Creek, right here in Smith County. And there are 8 wineries in the Upper Cumberland in their association, and they will all 8 be there. We actually, the entire homestead area, everything under fence, will be the wine festival. So we, in other words, you'll have plenty of room. Those of you that were at our first festival 3 years ago, you know, we didn't have enough room. Last year we changed it around a little bit. We got some more ideas. So this year we're going to have ample room, ample parking. The pre-sale price for the tickets is $15, and the day of the event is $20. So we're looking forward to that. It is our first year. We didn't know what we were doing, and as anybody starting out, we made a few mistakes. And we tried to correct them last year, and hopefully we learned from our mistakes then and learned again last year. So hopefully this year will be much bigger and better.
Well, I've heard nothing but good things, you know, from people that have visited.
Right.
So I think you're going to have an increase in your crowd and everything. You was talking about the I Love Lucy. You know, if people if they don't know what we're talking about, they can watch DTC. They play a few episodes of that.
They sure do. Yeah. They sure do. So, they sure do. They play I Love Lucy, and I assume they play Andy Griffith as well. Do they?
They do, as a matter of fact. And well, so you guys do quite a lot about Andy Griffith in Mayberry, don't you?
Well, I tell you what, I'm going to plug the next event, which we'll talk about next time when we're here. But on May 4th and 5th is going to be our Moonshine and Cornbread Festival. And this will be about our third or fourth.
Because I hear people talk about it.
Right. And we just found out this past week that the Tennessee Distillers Guild has made us an official stop. They just do so many events a year, and we're going to be one of them. There are actually 27 licensed distilleries in the state of Tennessee now, and we're fortunate enough for them to make us one of the stops. And along with the Moonshine and Cornbread Festival, we are going to be doing another Mayberry play.
Oh, okay.
We're going to do the Wedding on the Mountain. For those of you that are into Andy Griffith, that's where Barney dresses up like a woman for the wedding, and we have an old truck. We have a bluegrass band to play the Darlings, to play the bluegrass music. It will be on Friday and Saturday night. And it will be outdoors. It will be at the homestead, actually around the cabin there, for those of you that have been to Granville. So we invite you to come out. Granville is open Wednesday through Saturday. We're open 12 to 3 Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and from 12 till about 8 on Saturday night. We have our live bluegrass music and dinner every Saturday night. In fact, April the 14th, that will mark our 10th year of doing live bluegrass music in Granville every Saturday night.
Right, and that's a syndicated program that goes out over the radio, right?
Syndicated program. We're on 40-something radio stations all over the world on the World Wide Web. We are actually on WSM following the Midnight Jamboree. Any of you up at midnight listening to WSM on Saturday night, you can hear Sutton Old Time Music Hour. We have some of the best bluegrass musicians on the planet that come through and play for us.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt about that. Well, there's a lot going on at Granville, and I'm glad to hear that you're actually getting a few more festivals, because people like to come there year round if they can. I know the restaurant is open all the time, isn't it?
Restaurant, yeah, Wednesday through Saturday. In fact, I just left Granville a few minutes ago, and they're having a meeting right now with all the business owners. I assume you are aware that the marina has been sold.
Yes, I was aware of that.
It's going to be the Wildwood campground, and they've got vintage campers there that they'll be renting. They're going to have pontoon boats. It's going to be the Wildwood Resort. Kevin and Donna from over at the Timberloft are partners in it, and we're all excited. They're going to take it to another level. Also, the Indian Creek Campground has sold. We have some folks, I believe they're from Florida, that have purchased that. So they're And the local campground there, Mr. V, I think he bought it last year. So we're really excited about some of the new businesses that are opening there in Granville.
Yeah, and that's great. And this is happening, it's either right in Smith County or a mile out.
A mile out. You actually, the marina is technically in Jackson County, but the breakwater, the stonework and everything that you see if you're sitting there on the deck eating, and if you look out and see the stone, you've actually got to go into Smith County to get out in the lake.
Yeah, there you go.
When you get in your boat in Jackson County, you've got to drive into Smith County to get out into the lake.
Well, and Granville, the museum, and they've all been members of the Chamber of Commerce, and they've really supported us, and we like to support them. And one thing that I can assure you, when somebody gets off the interstate and driving to Granville, they're coming through Smith County, and they're stopping at our stores and our Walmart, and we appreciate that. We get a lot of tourists and people that come through the Chamber of Commerce, and they'll be asking stuff about, what's going on, and this is a good tourism draw. Tourism, I can't remember now, but I think it was like $16 billion in the state last year, and we're getting our share of that.
Right. Mr. Triplett, the Commissioner of Tourism, one of his first few days on the job, he came to Granville, and he kind of liked what he saw. He actually brought in all of his first duties. He took a bus tour of the state with the managers of each rest area.
I remember that.
And he came, and we actually they came for a Mayberry play. We actually kind of did a Mayberry play for him, and he kind of took a liking to us, and has helped promote, what our endeavors are.
Yeah, well, he's done a good job with promoting Tennessee, and I know the new tourism guide is out. If you collect those things or like to read the articles, you can come by the chamber and pick one up, and I'm sure you've got them there at Granville too.
Right.
And it's on a historic bent this time, and if you want one of those, you can come by and get it. Well, Stan, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me, Bill.
I guess the last thing I would like you to talk about, you're also heavily involved with and been a part of the Smith County Fair for a long time now. I'm not going to tell you age, but you and I aren't far apart.
Right. Well, actually, Bill, I worked for 46 years, and when I retired, between the fair in Granville and my cows, I don't see how I had time to work.
I can imagine.
We're having our 11th Smith County Fair this year, and we're real excited about it. For those of you that don't know, our fair dates this year are July the 2nd through the 7th. We're backing the fair up about 3 weeks. The reason for this, we were able to get a new carnival. It's the James Gang. They're based out of southern Alabama. They are a family operation. It's 3 brothers that run the business. Their mom and dad started it many years ago. And we've had nothing but the fairs that they play people to be complimentary of them. They play Overton County, Putnam County, White County, Clay County. They go all the way from a little fair like Clay County all the way up to a fair like Putnam County. So we were able to get them, and we are very excited about them coming. And we are in the middle of selling our ads for our fair program. And if you would like an ad in our fair program, the cutoff date is like the 20th of March. If you'd contact myself or Anthony Apple, Anthony's at Citizen Bank, or myself, either one, we will help you with an ad. We still have a few spots left in our program.
Okay.
But, thank you for having me.
Well, glad you came by, and we'll look forward to seeing you at Granville and at the Smith County Fair.
Right. We'll see you April the 14th at the Wine Festival.
There we go. All right. All right, we're standing here on the grand staircase at Nottingham Hill Farm, and one of our friends from Lancaster, those folks that are looking at the map, it's Lancaster, but we call it Lancaster, is here with us, Miss Jenny Drake from Peaceful Pastures. Is that right? Did I
Yes,
get that
sir.
Right? Okay. Well, now Peaceful Pastures is a farm. By the way, they gave you coffee before you got the interview. They're pretty nice here, aren't
Yes, and I will say, for anyone who has not been here, it has to be seen to be believed. It is absolutely gorgeous, yet it is also so welcoming and so comfortable, and they serve great coffee. So if you haven't checked this place out, you really must. And visitors coming from out of town should stay here. There is just nothing to compare to this place.
Well, it is great. And we're going to do a little tour and talk to the owner, Mr. Rick Snowden, here in a little while. But let's talk about Peaceful Pastures. Now, you are an organic farm located here in Smith County. Is that right?
Yes, sir. We do meat. We don't do any fruits or vegetables, but we produce and direct market beef, pork, lamb, chicken, and turkey.
Okay.
And the pork is from heritage breed hogs. Beef is from red Angus. Chickens are the generic white meat chickens, and our sheep are Dorpers, which are a South African breed. So we sort of cover the world with the breeds that we offer. Our meat is dry aged, just like Logan steaks and Ruth Chris steaks. Our beef is dry aged. Our beef and our lamb are 100% grass fed and grass finished. They receive no grain ever. We try to raise animals the way we feel the Lord intended. And for those species, it is without any grain. All of our animals spend their entire lives on pasture. In fact, we're having baby lambs right now, and they lamb outside. Regardless of the weather, and we don't put them in barns. We don't confine them to what some people call lambing jugs, and they do that to build the bond between the mama and the baby. Well, we feel that bond ought to be there regardless, and in fact, the bond is strengthened by the baby following the mama in the pasture as opposed to being stuck in a stall with them.
Well, that makes sense.
So we are incredibly blessed. We love it here in Smith County in every way, shape, and form. This is our 21st year here. But that is what we do. We raise the animals. We do not process them. It is illegal to do on-farm processing in the state of Tennessee, but we use USDA-inspected small family-run processors, and they are also certified animal welfare approved. We sell retail cuts, anything as small as 1 pound of ground beef all the way up to a whole cow. And with a half a cow or whole cow, you get to choose the way you want it cut up and packaged.
Okay, so you're pretty eclectic as far as the way you allow things. Tell me this, this farm sounds so, I've been there and it is beautiful. The pastures, it's very idyllic looking. Do you do tours?
Yes, we do group tours. We like to have at least 8 to 10 people for a group. There is a fee involved, just a flat fee, but anyone who is interested with a homeschool group, we also have the Smith County leadership come out every year.
That's how I got to see it, yeah.
Really enjoy that. Any type of team building, anyone that wants to see anything alternative, we're open to it. Just contact us. What we don't do is drop-in tours for just a family of 2 to 4 people, but a larger group. We've had school groups from Missouri come, school meaning colleges. We've had groups from Missouri. We've had groups from North Carolina. We've had all kinds of ag tour groups come by, and so we are certainly open to such. Just know that we're Sabbath observers and we don't do any tours or conduct any business on Sundays. Okay,
well now one thing I want to make clear too, if you're not wanting a tour, but if you want to purchase some meat or anything that you have for sale, you can come to the farm and purchase that. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Our hours of operation are 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday through Friday. We are closed on weekends because that's when we're going to farmers markets in Nashville and Franklin. But during the week, 7 a.m. to 3 p.m., we're closed weekends and federal holidays. We recommend that you call before you come out because sometimes we might be weighing cows or something and everyone might not be right there with the retail building if we don't know that you're coming. In addition to the meats, I have kind of an oddball product. I do handmade goat milk soaps. Yeah. And I've been doing that for 25 years.
You call it Country Girl, right?
Yes, they're as Country Girl soaps, and we have soaps, bath salts, and lotions as well, all of them handmade in my little country kitchen. And new last year and continuing this year, we're going to offer occasional classes on canning, specifically stock making, chicken stock, beef beef stock and probably some jelly too, if people are interested. It's a good way to learn hands-on. Just be aware that my house is not air conditioned. So it truly is the old-fashioned way of canning.
Well, when we do leadership, I know we take the leadership group and we tell them, say, now you're going to see farming the way it used to be and natural form, of course with modern equipment and refrigeration. But then we're going to go over and we go to Catisa Farm and we see all the mechanized. And of course, he doesn't do animal, he doesn't raise livestock. He's more into the grains and strawberries and things like that. So we've got a wide variety of farming here in Smith County, and you're on the end that I think people, it's really, what is the word? They're really enamored with it because it's like it used to be. I know I grew up on a farm with the chickens and the cows and everything. Well, that's what they see at your place.
Oh, absolutely. The chickens are truly free range, though free range is a bit of a misnomer. If you see those free range chickens or eggs in the store, free range by the USDA definition only means that they have access to the outdoors. Chickens can free range on sand, asphalt, or concrete. Ours are pastured chickens, which means they spend their lives on the green grass with grass, legumes, and insects making up a significant part of their diet. So yes, you do see them. We like to joke that every day is Easter at Peaceful Pastures because the chickens just lay wherever they lay, and we hunt up the eggs.
Yeah. Well, that's a good way to do it though, because that truly is organic, truly is natural. So you're getting what nature and God intended to eat.
We also, when we move our cows, we move them either on foot, the humans on foot, or on horseback. Occasionally we will use a four-wheeler, but usually they're moved either manually or via equine assistance. This is lower stress for the animals.
I know, and don't you raise your own hay to feed them too
yes,
in
sir.
the winter?
Yes,
That's
sir,
what
we
I
do.
was thinking. So you've got quite an operation there. I don't know how many employees you have for sure, but I know in the summer I see a lot of people that are coming in from universities to learn how you do things. Is that right?
Oh, yes, sir. We have a wonderful summer internship program. I think this is our 20th year. We target pre-vet students because we can give them all of their large animal experience required to even apply to vet school. In one-stop shopping, it is a paid internship, and we provide the housing, and we also feed them. Anecdotally, over 80% of our applicants will be female. We actually have very few male interns, but we love the girls. I become so close to them, and some years it's a real tear fest when they go back to school. They're quite the blessing. They add an energy to the farm. I enjoy teaching. And every so often, Miss Jenny throws in a few life lessons as well, not just about farming and animals.
Well, and I know you and Darren both are degreed in fact, why don't you just tell people about Darren's credentials and your credentials? I think that would be a good thing.
Oh gosh, my mother loves the phrase wasting your education when I go with this. Darren has a bachelor's degree in range management from Oklahoma State, and then he has a master's degree in ag econ from Purdue. I hail from the wonderful state of Kentucky, go Big Blue, where I have a bachelor's degree from Murray State University, go Racers. I went to both UK and Murray, but let me tell you, my loyalties lie with Murray State, except for basketball season. And then I have a master's degree from University of Kentucky in kind of an industrial engineering, which is a safety thing, kind of like OSHA, but involves more chemistry. It's industrial hygiene engineering. Once again, my mother loves to throw out there wasting your education, but I'm here where God planted me, and I love it, and I'm blessed.
Well, and the farm is better for it, and I think it's great that you guys would choose Smith County to bring your life and your business there. It's about 300 acres, is that right?
Well, that is the place that we own. We also lease an additional or manage for someone else almost 2,000 acres. All of it is in pasture with the exception of 40 acres of hay. We don't do any crops.
Okay.
It is strictly pasture livestock.
And it's all close by?
Yes, sir.
Where your main house is?
My coffee mug is hot.
Oh, well, I apologize. I tell you what,
fine.
why don't I take this microphone and let you switch hands on that?
That's fine.
In fact, you were going to be finishing the tour up, I believe, of the house?
Yes, sir. I'm going out to see the cottage. In addition to renting out the house here through Airbnb, there's a smaller cottage out back. And I was asking him, because most of our interns are from out of state, and they need a place to stay before their working interview at the farm. And I like the location. This is so close to the interstate. And here's the interjection from Mama Hen Jenny. I would feel very safe with a young female traveling solo staying here. I think it's a great location, and I would feel safe, comfortable, and confident with their staying here. So I'm going to make sure I pass along the information here to our applicants that are coming to interview within the next couple of weeks.
Okay, well, I tell you what, why don't you go ahead and take your coffee, you can finish your tour, and I'll tell these folks about what's coming up next.
Awesome. Well, tell them they need to come see this place. It is really something.
Okay, and you need to go to Peaceful Pastures if you need any organic meat or anything Country Girl soap.
And eggs. We also have eggs.
Okay, thank you, Jenny.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. That was Miss Jenny Drake with Peaceful Pastures, and we're glad that she came by and came to see us today. We have a segment, I believe, with Miss Grace Harville, and so we're going to cut to that now, and so here comes Seasoned with Grace.
Hi everybody, and welcome to another episode of Seasoned with Grace. Since this month is March and it's the month of St. Patrick's Day, I'm going to do a dish that I normally just make with squash, but since it is the month of St. Patrick's Day, we're going to add a little bit of green to our diet. So this month I'm going to be making a delicious squash and zucchini casserole. It's very, very good. And to start out, we just have 3.5 cups of squash and zucchini that I boiled in some water with about a teaspoon of minced onion, and that is where our vegetables are. And next I'm going to add a cup of sour cream, a can of cream of mushroom soup, a cup of Velveeta cheese that's been cut into cubes, a teaspoon of salt, and half a teaspoon of pepper. It's that simple. And now we're just going to mix all of this together until it's fully combined. This is a very, very nice side dish to go with any main entree that you might have, whether it be beef or pork or chicken. It goes well with just about everything. Alright, I think that looks great. Next, we're going to pour it into our baking dish, and it doesn't have to be greased or anything. We can just go ahead and add it to our dish. And now we're going to sprinkle some seasoned breadcrumbs over the top of our casserole. This will give it kind of a nice crunch on the top of it. There we go. And now we're going to put it in the oven at 350 degrees for about 30 to 45 minutes. And through the magic of television, we have one already made. So I'm going to go ahead and put this one in the oven and get this bottom one out. Yum, yum, yum is all I can say. That looks delicious. And now I'm going to serve a piece on a plate just so y'all can see how pretty the colors are with the squash and the zucchini. That looks great. absolutely gorgeous. Like I said before, this is a fantastic side dish that will go great with any main entree that you might have. If you would like a copy of the recipe for my squash and zucchini casserole, you can go to my Facebook page, Seasoned with Grace. I hope y'all have a fantastic St. Patrick's Day, and I hope your day is seasoned with grace. We'll see you next time.
We're still here at Nottingham Hill Farms, and we're in the dining area. Mr. Chris Hicks with UT Extension has come by. He's got some stuff he wants to tell us about. Chris, pretty amazing place, isn't it?
Hey, this is my first time here, Bill. It's pretty impressive. I wouldn't mind staying here.
Yeah, well, if you got any relatives that are coming in and they're looking for a place, this would be nice. I know Rick makes it available on Airbnb, so if we'll be talking about that later. But anyway, you came to talk to us about something that's going on, I think, at the Chamber of Commerce. Is that right?
We're trying something new. We're going to do it at the Chamber. We appreciate you guys hosting us. We're going to do our first ever Lunch and Learn gardening series. We're going to meet at the Chamber of Commerce for lunch, and our idea with this, Bill, is that folks could take their lunch break and come and eat with us and get a good educational program in the process. So they're going to come, and for $5, they will get lunch and some speakers that are going to be talking about various vegetable gardening topics.
Okay, a very germane topic for this time of year, I would think.
Well, that was my thought. That was my thinking. In March, that's kind of what you want to be talking about, is gardening, because people are getting ready.
In fact, you should have your ground broke probably already. Is that right?
Well, if it wasn't, raining every day, I'm sure people would probably be doing a lot more of that. Yeah,
that's true. Now, that is one question that I do have that you could answer. I see a lot of people in the fall will actually break up a garden spot. Is that a really good practice? Or
sure, yeah. I mean, that's what a lot of folks do, and that's fine. Especially, if you do a soil test and you realize maybe there's some nutrient missing that you need to add, the fall would be a good time to do that. And so I'm thinking about lime. If you have a low pH, maybe in the fall you work up that garden, mix your lime in so it has time to do its work before the spring. So yeah, that's a common deal.
Yeah, well, when I was a kid, I remember they'd break the ground up in the fall, and then in the spring they would disc it, and then we'd do the planting, and you had really nice, soft, tillable ground to go into and plant stuff. So it works out really well. Okay, what else is going on UT Extension? Anything happening?
Well, we've been really busy during this recent month. We've got master beef classes going on. Actually, in March, we've got a master small ruminant class that we're kind of doing as an Upper Cumberland group, several counties going in to talk about sheep and goats. So I would invite any of our sheep and goat producers to come to that class. It's going to be in Sparta in March, and so they can call our office at 615-735-2900 to get more information about the topics and locations and things like that. But that's going to be a really hands-on class where we're actually going to be working on some sheep and goats and showing how to trim feed and check for worms and things like that. So if you're a producer or interested in maybe raising sheep or goats, that'd be really good class to have.
And goats are getting really popular because you don't have to have as much land, I guess. If you're wanting to get into the cattle business, you need a pretty big farm.
And a lot of folks don't realize Tennessee is actually second in the nation as far as goats, as far as the goat population.
I did not know that.
We've got a lot of goats in Tennessee. When you really start looking around, you start to notice there are several goats even in Smith County.
Yeah, there are a lot of farms that have them, and then sheep. I know at one time used to be big. Is it still big in the county?
Yes, we've got several folks that have a few sheep, a couple larger producers, but hair sheep are actually getting more and more popular all the time. Hair sheep, they look like a goat, but they're a sheep, but you don't have to shear them because they actually have hair. And there's a couple different breeds that folks have of hair sheep that you don't have to shear. They don't have wool, they actually have hair, and they seem to be a lot hardier. They don't seem to get sick as often as some of the traditional breeds of sheep.
I know one time many years ago I was on a mission trip. We went to New Mexico and to the Navajo Nation there, and we actually built a church. And one of the things that I thought was interesting, the folks there that we were building the church for, they wanted to have a big dinner for us, and so they served mutton.
Yeah.
That was my first time. We raised sheep when I was a kid, but we always sheared them for the wool, and we never ate one. And they served mutton, and it actually was quite good.
Sure, if it's like anything else. If it's cooked properly, cooked the right way, prepared correctly, it's pretty good.
Yeah, and these folks, they knew how to do that because that's what they had been doing all of their lives. Absolutely. Well, is there anything else?
Well, I would just say, as springtime is approaching, it's February as we're taping this. I know it'll air in March, but
right.
it's felt like spring the last couple of weeks with the warmer temperatures and the rainfall. If we do have some dry weather where we can get in and maybe pull some soil tests, it's a good time to do that, to pull those soil samples and send them to the lab at UT, and we can get some results and find out what nutrients are there so we can determine what nutrients we need to add, not only in the garden, but at pastures and crops and things like that. That way we're putting the money as far as nutrients where it needs to be rather than just kind of guessing and throw it out there. So the motto is, don't guess, soil test.
There you
can
go.
Remember that.
I can remember that. That's a good idea. And I have noticed around my house, the lawn is, I'm starting to see signs of life.
Yep,
and so
absolutely.
we're going to have to start caring for that here before too much longer.
Time to pull the mowers out and get to work.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Okay, Lunch and Learn, you want to tell them one more time about that?
One more time, the last 3 Wednesdays in March, Smith County Chamber of Commerce, only $5. Pretty good deal for $5. You get to come on your lunch break. We promise we'll have you out of there by noon. So come at 11. We'll have you out of there by noon so you can be on your way and just come eat lunch with us and get some good information about. We're going to talk about raised beds. We're going to talk about diseases. We're going to talk about just overall garden management. Love to have you at all 3, but if there's only one that you can come to, you come to that session. But if you can come to all 3, we'd certainly invite you to do that.
Okay, well, I don't know about you, but I'm planning on being there for that because I think that sounds like a good deal. Well, Chris, thank you for coming by.
Thank you, Bill.
And we'll look forward to seeing you next month. I'm sure you'll have some topic to talk about. UT Extension is always out there for us.
Right.
If you want to talk to Chris about anything, if you got a farming problem, now you don't do counseling or anything like that, but if it's about farming, sometimes we have bad times and we have to do some counseling. Yeah, there you go. But if you have a farming question or something to do with raising cattle or crops, this is your man, and give them your number one more time. 615-735-2900. They can also find us on the website at smith.tennessee.edu. We've got a Facebook and Instagram page too, so we're kind of all over. Okay, and they're on the Smith County Chamber website, and we're linking, and on Facebook pages, and we're linking that, so you'll be able to find these guys, and just call us at Chamber of Commerce, 735-2093, and we'd be happy to give you the information. Chris, thank you for coming by. Thank you, Bill. And I guess we're going to be doing some more touring of Nottingham Hill Farm. I'm going to look around myself. Yeah. Nice place. Yes, it is. All right, we're here at Nottingham Hill Farm, B&B, and this is Mr. Rick Snowden. Rick, thank you for allowing us to come to your place. It's my pleasure. Well, I'm glad you had us. We're hoping that we're going to do some interviews in here, and when these folks come in, we're hoping to show your place off a little bit. And I know we're going to show some pictures and everything, but there are a lot of folks in Smith County and maybe in Warren and DeKalb that they don't realize this is here. So let's first off tell them where you are. You're just right off Interstate 40, is that right? Interstate 40, exit 258, just 1.2 miles off the exit. Okay. Of course, the great thing about this property, while it's a private paradise, you have all the amenities within a mile of the property. That's right. Because of the interchange. Yeah, you can't really see a lot of it. You got a beautiful view here, and we're standing on your front porch, and folks, you can't see this, but it's kind of one of those days where the mist is in the mountains there, or the hills, and it's really beautiful, and then the cattle grazing in the field down there. Very nice, idyllic place to come and visit. Of course, sadly, we're here about the worst time of the year, the last of the ugly winter. Yeah, that's true. Spring hasn't sprung yet. Well, now, you advertise on Airbnb. Airbnb. And, of course, you are listed on the Smith County Chamber website, and you're a member of the Chamber. Yes. And, by the way, appreciate you being a member. I've always believed in participating in the community that I reside in, and, I've been in business 40-plus years. And I've been here 10 years, and on Airbnb.com for 5 years. Okay. 5th year, starting my 5th year. So you've got I know I looked it up, and you've got like a 99.9% or something like that rating. Very high, and I'm very grateful for that. But
my philosophy all my life has been that whatever I undertake it to be and do the best. And that's what I've strived to do here. So I'm very proud of the 4.9 out of 5 that you can get. So we're a 5-star property, as rated by Airbnb.
That is wonderful. And folks, when you start seeing the footage in here, you'll see why it says that. This is a great place. Now, Rick, the first question I think a lot of people would ask is, how did you land in Smith County, Tennessee, just off of I-40 here?
Well, I am a native upstate New Yorker, more rural New York than, when people think New York, they think the city. But no, upstate New York, the southern tier, Western New York, Rochester, Buffalo, Corning, New York area. But we were frankly tired of the high taxes in New York, the oppressive business regulations, and we looked around, and my wonderful former wife found this property on the internet for sale. Of course, as you know, it was owned by the former lead singer of Lone Star,
right, Mr.
the
Richie
McDonald family. And we came here, we liked it, and thought that this would be a terrific place to escape New York. We loved the people here, we loved the Tennessee area, the state, and so here we are.
Well, a lot of people may not know this, but you have a bit of notoriety, I believe. You are, if they look you up on the internet, you're one of the super fans, aren't you?
Well, I've never called myself a super fan of anything. I am a supporter of our president, and did, as a result of a lifelong interest in history and politics, meet many presidents over my lifetime, 8 of them, a couple of them in the White House. And I did like what he was saying as to how we need to make America great again. And so I started attending rallies, and in the end went to 40 Trump rallies, then added, I was honored to be invited to the inauguration, and attended a couple other events. So it's like 43 Trump events over a course of like 2.5 years.
Well, I knew I had looked at some pictures, and you were standing as close as I am to you.
Oh yeah,
so.
I had the privilege of meeting him 28 times. I was very proud, and as was my son, shocked when at the time my son was 13 years old, and I took him to New Hampshire. That was one thing I had never done in my presidential travels, so to speak. It was to go up to New Hampshire for primary weekend.
Yeah.
And so I took my son up there, and I said, son, I'm going to introduce you to Mr. Trump. Yeah, Dad, right. and so we were at the Manchester rally, primary eve, and right in front along the row, along come Mr. Trump, and it's good to see you again, Richard. And that's what they know me in the political world, Richard.
Right.
And I says, Mr. Trump, I'd like to introduce you to my son, Robert. And so he was very kind to Robert, and spoke to Robert about how obviously the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
There you go.
I hear that you're a big supporter of mine. Thank you for that. And it was just amazing, that a great privilege to introduce your 13-year-old son to the man who became the 45th President of the United States.
Yeah.
So it's a memory that I know he will carry all of his life.
Yeah, and you don't get opportunities like that. I also saw some pictures with Bill Clinton and several other presidents too. So.
Oh, well, there's in the home there's 6. I'm pictured with 6 presidents, and have met 8, and been to national conventions, inaugurations. I was at George W. Bush's final State of the Union in the gallery, which was a fabulous honor, because there's only about 900 or so people that get invited to the gallery.
Right.
And I was there, and that was a great thing. You get to see behind the scenes in the Capitol, and some fabulous artwork that the public on a regular tour of the Capitol doesn't get to see usually. So it was really fabulous, and that was a wonderful capstone to my lifelong 50-plus years of interest in politics since I was a boy. And to do that, and then of course to be recognized in the country as they call me, the Trumpiest of the Trumpsters.
Well, that is an amazing thing, and I know you've enjoyed that and everything. I thought people would be interested in knowing those little things about you. Talking about getting back to the bed and breakfast, if they want to, some of their family wanted to come and stay, or if they want to be here, they just go to Airbnb, is that right?
Airbnb.com, search Carthage, Tennessee. My property's headed, I've got 3 here now for rent. The main house, convenient to Nashville. The cottage, convenient to Nashville 2, TOO. And then I've just, believe it or not, the barn is so nice that I've added for those on a budget or just passing through and want a safe place to stop at a very low rate, reasonable rate. I've even now opened my barn for those that don't need all the amenities but need a place to just pull up and rest for 8 or 9 hours. And so that's available now too.
And Rick's calling it a barn, but when you look at the pictures, you'll realize it's not really a barn.
Well, it is, but it's nice, and I always laugh and say it's probably only about $10,000, and it'd be like a house.
Yeah, there you go. But anyway, if you know somebody that's needing a place to stay, this would be a great place for them to look at. And if you've got a group, let's see, the house you can
12 in the house. Accommodate 12 in the house, 5 in the cottage, and there are 4 air mattresses and sleeping bag for the barn. So
Okay.
a total of 21. A party that is willing to separate a little bit, all within the property, could come here. 21.
Yeah. Okay. And when you look in the house, there's a full kitchen, of course, and a full living room with a fireplace.
They have
and
everything.
several reading rooms.
And then, of course, the amenities on the property are just fabulous. The pool, a full sports court, a hot tub, the gazebo, the kids' playground, the kids' playhouse, which replicates the house. And so there's, and of course, 43 acres. There's 43 acres, of which 25, 30 of them are great for roaming and enjoying the terrific views.
And I understand you get a pretty wide variety of folks. In fact, I don't know if they were your first, but when I came up and you first joined the chamber back in 2015, I think you had a group from Japan that was coming to stay. I don't know if you remember that, but I remember.
I do remember the most recent thing, which was August 21st, the eclipse.
Oh, yeah.
I had people from China in the cottage, people from England in the house, and I had people from, Italy for the cottage, England for the main house, and China in the barn.
Wow.
All for the eclipse.
That is wonderful. I'm glad. And that was a good event for us. We didn't have quite as many people as we thought, but it turned out really good. I know the chamber, we sold eclipse glasses, and we did well with that. And I know a lot of other folks around here did well with some things. So that was a good event for us.
Well, the one thing I would add, how this has gotten to be so popular, far beyond what I ever imagined, is that there are people, for example, east of Knoxville, west of Memphis. And when they look for family reunions or friends gathering together for a get-together, Smith County and this particular property is practically dead center.
Yeah.
So that's how that happens. Charlotte, North Carolina, St. Louis, we're in the middle.
Yeah, yeah.
So we have had people from probably 20, 25 states and about 7 or 8 foreign countries.
And it's still close enough to Nashville to where they still have the big city if they want it.
Absolutely. That's quick as I say it. It's an easy 40, 45 minutes away. Of course, Lebanon's closer. Cookville's close. So they've got 3 cities to choose from, all while enjoying the serenity of this property.
Okay. Well, Rick, once again, thank you for letting us come and do our interviews here for the show. And
well, I want to thank you for the terrific job that you've been doing on behalf of all of us in Smith County as the Executive Director of the Chamber of Commerce. I think you've done a terrific job, and we're lucky to have you. I really mean that.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate that. And Rick, we'll be back.
Well, thank you.
All right. We're here in what I would call, I guess, the mud room in Nottingham Hill Farm. You know, that room where you come and take your boots and stuff off before you go into the rest of the house. And their mud room looks pretty nice. Anyway, I wanted to tell you a few things about some things that are happening in Smith County. One thing in general If you want to know what's happening, an event that's going on or something that's happening in Smith County, go to smithcountychamber.org and click on the events calendar. Once you click on that, you'll be able to scroll through and pick out any day or any week, and you can look at that and see what's happening in Smith County, and we try to keep that up to date. If you find something that's missing on that, you let us know. You can go into that and add events. What you do is follow the instructions on the bottom, and you can put an event on the events calendar. So if you know of anything that's happening in Smith County that we don't have listed, we'd appreciate you putting it on. And if you're looking to find out what's happening in Smith County, then the events calendar is the place to go. www.smithcountychamber.org is where you would go to do that. We'd also like to let you know about some things that are going on in Smith County. In April and May, the Hull Community Theater, the folks with the arts group, Mr. Bill Reese and his group, they are putting on You Can't Take It With You. And this is basically a Pulitzer Prize winning comedy. It's in 3 acts. It was by Mr. Moss Hart and George Kaufman. And these performances are going to run through Friday, April the 27th through May the 6th. Now they're only on Friday and Saturday and Sunday, the first weekend, actually both weekends. Starting April 27th, they're on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And you can buy tickets for these plays at the Smith County Drug Center at the end of Main Street. So if you want to go to these plays and You Can't Take It With You, I can tell you I have seen it before, and it is a wonderful show. So I think you'll really enjoy that. In June, we're going to have the Highway 25 third annual Trash and Treasures Yard Sale, and that's June 29th, 30th. And what we're planning on doing, if we can get enough folks that want to participate, we're going to open up the square in Carthage to have people to come and yard sale their items, and they'll pay about $10 for a spot, and they'll be able to set up and sell there on the square just like we've done in the past. You can follow Highway 25 and go all the way to Cross Plains, Tennessee, and you'll be able to cover this yard sale. Also, I'd like to tell you about an event that is going to be a really special event, and it happens on May the 12th. And I want to tell you early about this. It's the River City Ball. If you want to attend a black tie affair and something that is really wonderful, come and see the River City Ball. It's going to be happening right there on the square in Carthage. And if you want information about that, you can go to our website, or you can go to the Facebook page, and they have a Facebook, or call us at the Chamber 735-2093. Tickets are going to be sold at Wish 86, Gordonsville Drugs, Smith County Drugs, and Ebel's Tavern. Wish 86, of course, is off the square in Carthage. Gordonsville Drugs obviously is in Gordonsville. They're off of near Citizens Bank. Smith County Drugs is at the end of the Main Street, and Ebel's Tavern is off of Main Street there near the courthouse. So if you want to get tickets to the River City Ball event, you need to go to one of these places and pick up some tickets. And it's going to be quite the event. It's going to be one of the biggest events of the year. So we hope that you'll come and participate with that. We hope you've enjoyed our show today, and we invite you to come back next month. We've got some exciting things that we're going to talk about. But just remember one thing, Smith County is a great place to live, a great place to work, and a great place to play. There's a lot of things to do in Smith County, and you need to make sure that you look them up and you get involved, because this community is a wonderful group of people, and they would love to see you come out and participate in what's going on. Eat at our restaurants, go to our lakes, fish our streams, kayak down the Caney Fork. Folks, we got a lot of things happening, and it's exciting to be in Smith County.